The sound of those handcuffs snapping shut was so sharp it cut through the whole lobby. People actually turned like they'd heard a gunshot. And the wild part is the guy holding them was smiling. Not nervous smiling either. Proud smiling, chest out, chin high, like he'd just bagged a criminal mastermind instead of a rain-soaked woman holding a cardboard box. What he didn't know, what nobody told him yet, was that the woman he'd just cuffed was the new federal chief prosecutor walking into her own office for the first time. Yeah, that happened. See, I remember that morning like it's burned into the inside of my skull because I was there standing 10 feet away watching the whole thing unfold, and, when you see something so wrong, your stomach drops before your brain catches up. That was the feeling. It was barely dawn. Gray sky hanging low over the city, like it didn't trust the day. Yet rain sliding down the glass doors of the federal building, and Sergeant Brock Harris was posted at the entrance like he owned the place. 20 years on the force, built like a fridge voice, like gravel in a blender. The kind of guy who thinks authority is something you wear instead of something you earn. He had that stance, the one. Feet planted wide, thumbs hooked near his belt, scanning everybody like they were suspects in his personal movie. He used to work patrol, but rumors said complaints stacked up, force complaints, attitude complaints, the kind departments don't like to talk about out loud, so now he guarded the lobby and treated it like his kingdom. People walked in, they nodded politely, he barely nodded back. Lawyers in suits, agents with badges, clerks juggling coffee, all of them passed through like background noise to him because he didn't respect anyone he couldn't control. Then that black sedan pulled up outside and everything shifted. A woman stepped out alone, mid-40s, maybe tan coat already darkening in the rain, wrestling a heavy banker's box from the passenger seat. No umbrella, no assistant, no fancy entrance, just her trying not to drop a stack of papers before breakfast. From where I stood, she looked like someone starting a long day, tired but focused hair catching the humidity, eyes sharp even from across the room. From where he stood, though, she looked like a problem. She pushed through the doors, shook rain from her sleeves, and before she could take 3 steps, Harris slid in front of her, palm up. "Hold it. Not hello, not good morning, just hold it." She adjusted the box on her hip and said calmly, "Morning, officer," like she'd been raised to be polite, even when someone wasn't. She tried to step around him toward the elevators. He shifted with her, blocked again. His hand rested near his baton, casual, but not really. "Where you think you're going?" She blinked water from her lashes. "Upstairs. I'm late, and I've got a briefing soon." He jerked his thumb over his shoulder. "Deliveries go around back." She frowned, confused, but still patient. "I'm not a delivery driver. I work here." He laughed short and sharp like she'd just told the dumbest joke he'd heard all week. He looked at the rookie beside him as if expecting backup laughter, but the kid just stared at the scanner, pretending he hadn't heard. Harris looked her up and down, slow, obvious. "You work here," he repeated. "Doing what cleaning crew comes at night, sweetheart." That word landed heavy. Sweetheart. You could feel the air change. The woman didn't raise her voice, didn't roll her eyes, didn't do any of the things people expect when they're trying to provoke you. She just shifted the box slightly and said, calm as a judge, "My name is Gwendolyn Reed. I need to get to the executive floor." He snorted. "Nobody goes up there without clearance, and I don't see a badge." "It's in this box," she said. "Today's my first day. If you check your roster, you'll see my name." He didn't even glance at the computer, crossed his arms. "I know everybody who works up there. Never seen you." She held his stare steady, not challenging, just certain. "That doesn't mean I don't belong." Now, most people would have backed down right there. You know what I mean. Smiled, apologized, walked around, avoided the friction. But she didn't move. And I swear you could see something in his face tighten because guys like Harris feed off reaction. Fear, anger, embarrassment, any of it. Calm throws them off. He stepped closer. "Last warning," he said. "Turn around and leave before I write you up for trespassing." She took a slow breath like she'd practiced patience her whole life. "Officer, you're making a mistake. Call Captain Ali. He's expecting me." Harris smirked. "Captain's busy. Doesn't have time for scams." Then he shoved her shoulder. Not hard enough to knock her down, just hard enough to remind her he could. But her shoe slipped on the wet floor. The box flew from her hands. Papers exploded across the marble, and a framed photograph slid out and shattered glass, skidding everywhere. She froze. Not dramatic, not loud, just froze. She crouched, turned the photo over carefully. It was an older man in a postal uniform smiling at the camera. proud, gentle eyes, the kind of picture someone carries when that person is their whole reason for pushing forward. She stared at the crack running across it. When she stood again, her voice dropped low. "Pick it up." Harris blinked. "Excuse me, pick it up." Even the air vents sounded quieter. He laughed. "I'm not picking up your trash." She looked straight at him. "You just assaulted a federal employee." He barked a laugh. "Yeah, and you're threatening an officer." She slowly raised her empty hands. "I'm reaching for my phone to call your supervisor." His hand snapped to his holster. "Hands where I can see them." She froze instantly. "They are." He stepped in close. "You're under arrest." That's when her voice sharpened for the first time. "For what?" "Walking into my office. Trespassing. Disorderly conduct. Take your pick." He grabbed her wrist, twisted her arm behind her back, pushed her toward the wall. She winced but didn't cry out. The rookie whispered, "Sarge, maybe we should check." Harris roared, "Assist me." Click, one cuff. Click, the other. That sound echoed, and he smiled again. Then the twist started creeping in. The rookie bent to gather the scattered papers, probably just trying to help, and he froze mid-reach. Picked up one page. DOJ letterhead, another page, official seal. His face went pale. "Sarge." Harris waved him off. "Fake." The rookie pointed to the floor. A credential card had slid out of the broken frame. Photo, seal, title, United States Attorney. Harris stared at it like reality had glitched. "Fake," he said again, but softer. The rookie swallowed. "I don't think so." Harris's jaw tightened. "Pride's a dangerous drug and he was high on it." "Put her in the holding room," he snapped. They guided her into the glass cell off the lobby, the one meant for drunks and shoplifters, and by then people had started gathering, lawyers whispering, staff staring, phones slowly lifting. One man whispered, "That's her," like he'd seen a ghost. She stood inside that glass box, straight-backed wrists, cuffed, coat damp, dignity intact, and picked up the wall phone. "Yes," she said calmly. "I need marshals, and Captain Alley. I want everything documented." Outside, Harris tried filling out an incident report, but his hand shook so bad the pen scratched nonsense. Then the freight elevator opened and 4 U.S. Marshals stepped out, moving like a unit, not rushed, not loud, just certain. Their lead walked straight to the cell, brushed past Harris like he wasn't even furniture, unlocked the door, and asked, "Ma'am, are you hurt?" She rolled her shoulder. "I'll live." "Do you want him arrested?" he asked. Before she answered, the main elevator opened and Captain Ali rushed out, saw the scene, saw her, saw Harris, and his face drained. Harris blurted, "She refused. I followed protocol." Ali snapped, "Give me your badge." Silence. "Now." Harris's hands trembled as he unclipped it. "Your weapon too." The belt hit the floor beside the broken glass, and just like that, the king of the lobby was a guy in a wrinkled uniform holding nothing. She stepped forward, then not angry, not loud, just clear. "You saw a black woman with a box and decided she didn't belong. She told him you weren't protecting this building. You were protecting your ego." No shouting. Somehow, that made it worse. They escorted him out. People parted like he carried a disease. Months later, the courtroom felt hotter than summer, even with the AC blasting. Harris stood at the defense table, thinner gray around the eyes, suit hanging off him like it belonged to someone else. He pleaded guilty to violating civil rights under color of law. The judge said he'd used his badge as intimidation instead of protection. Said bias isn't a mistake when you refuse to see it. Sentence came down, prison time, real time. And when the marshals stepped forward to cuff him, guess who it was? The rookie, the same kid who'd hesitated that morning. He fastened the cuffs gently, not out of kindness but out of professionalism, and Harris looked at him like he was seeing his own reflection from 6 months earlier. Gwendolyn Reed sat in the back row, watching, not smiling, not celebrating, just quiet. When it was done, she stood and left heels steady, already moving on to the next case, because justice for her wasn't a show, it was a job. And that's the part that sticks with me, not the arrest, not the sentence, but that look she had the whole time. Not anger, not fear, just certainty. Like she knew who she was, even when someone else decided she was nobody. So here's what I want to know from you, honestly. Was that just one arrogant cop having a bad morning, or was it something bigger, something people ignore until it blows up on camera? And what about the rookie? Do you think he did enough, or should he have stepped in sooner, even if it cost him his career? Tell me what you would have done if you'd been standing there watching it happen, because these moments don't come with warning labels. Drop your thoughts in the comments, argue it out, share your own stories if you've seen something like this in real life, and if this hit you the way it hit me, stick around and subscribe, because stories like this, real ones about power, judgment, and consequences, they happen more often than people think.